Microsoft PowerPoint 2007, formatting content, themes. I know, I've been promising from almost practically one of the first of the CBT nuggets here on PowerPoint 2007 to talk about changing color schemes and fonts and how themes can really make a difference in putting together powerful PowerPoint presentations. Well, guess what, gang? This is the CBT nugget for you. Over the years, PowerPoint has really come through to help us with choosing colors and fonts and things and try to bring them together into a cohesive whole. And here we're going to take a look at how with themes in PowerPoint 2007 we can change these themes of color and effects and all those things. We'll also take a look at how we can look at different color schemes, whether you want some more brilliant colors or more subdued tones. We'll take a look at font schemes and how you can change what the headings look like and what the body text looks like, and do it on all the slides or maybe certain slides. And then we even take a look at effects, which are primarily for smart art here in PowerPoint 2007. One of the common questions that I get when people ask me about utilizing PowerPoint and how to do it better, they say, Chris, you know, you've been presenting, you've been training, whether it's with your work with the Sheriff's Department, your church, or with, of course, obviously Cisco and Microsoft and teaching classes, is that how do you get the graphics to look good? Well, I'm going to give you a little secret. Most of the time, 9 times out of 10, I have professional graphic designers that help me pick color schemes that I can use. Now, you might say, well, Chris, I don't have access to professional graphic designers and color people. The good news is that with PowerPoint, they've already built in color schemes and text capabilities and backgrounds and things that look good together that have been designed by graphic designers. In fact, some of the Microsoft Office gurus have come together and produced things. Like, for example, this ocean theme is one that was put together by someone. If you remember, we downloaded this off of the Microsoft Office user forum. And so that's great, and someone has put a lot of thought into it. But I think all of us, and I kind of preface this video a little bit by saying that all of us, when we look through this CBT nugget, you're going to find that you know what looks good, or at least have a good idea. And the nice thing is, like I said, if we go ahead and click on the design, and that's what they're thinking about, the design tab of our Office ribbon, we're going to find that they have gone ahead and built in together all these different things that we can use for our themes. Now, what are these themes that we have here? Well, a theme is literally the colors, the fonts, the behaviors or effects, formatting, graphics, any other elements that kind of bring everything together into a coherent look or feel. And by the way, someone says, well, what about, just plain white and, colors? Well, guess what? If I look at the Office, standard Office theme, even black and white has a coherent theme to it. It has a particular font. It has a particular color scheme for background colors, for the accent colors, for hyperlink colors. It's got particular graphics that are associated with it. And so what you can do is, if you want to change the theme that comes with the presentation, you can choose a new one just by coming up here to the Design tab and then coming over here and choosing the particular theme that you want. And the cool thing is, with the live preview, just like you saw when I just hover my mouse over it, you're going to get to see what this new theme will do to your existing presentation. So this is kind of fun, so you can go through and try some of these and see which one you think looks good. Now, I am going to give you a little bit of advice here. Just remember, while it looks great perhaps on this title page, if you come over here and choose a different part of your presentation and try it, you'll notice, okay, not so much, because it doesn't change that table, which is formatted separately than the actual one. So even if I change the theme of the fonts and the colors and the things here, I am going to have to go in and change the table information that I have. So, there are pluses and minuses to just about anything when you look at it. So what we'll do here is we'll go ahead and play around with this a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and come over here to our Vision here, where we have our built-in Microsoft Word document in here, and I'm going to go ahead and decide I want to change the theme for my presentation. So let's go ahead and let's pick one. Now notice all you have to do is, if you place your mouse over this and roll over this, you're going to see that it changes all the colors and the things that you're going to do. So let's go down and pick one that we think is going to look really good. Right now, so far, looking at these, you might say, well, this is good, and you have a lot of different ones that you can choose from. You can, click down here and you can see kind of a little bit more of the built-in themes that you have. You also can go and look for more themes on Microsoft Office Online. There's a lot of them out there, and that's where, again, you can take advantage of all of those graphic designers that work out there, and they'll help you with some of your themes. You can also browse for themes that are located on your particular desktop or on your PC or on your network, and you can even save a current theme, and what will happen is that's when you start changing the colors and the fonts and the effects that are associated with a particular theme. So let's say I wanted to go ahead and I say, wow, these all look pretty good. The one thing when you do the drop down arrow here for the all themes here is that obviously you can't see the live preview. So you don't use the drop down arrow for the more, but if you use this one now, you can go drop down and pick a particular one that you want to utilize. This one seems pretty good, so we'll go ahead and just select it. Now watch what happens when I click on this. This is called Urban. You can see it right, it kind of gives you the preview there and tells you what kind it is. Let's go ahead and use Urban. So I go ahead and click on Urban, and boom, there it goes. You notice over here it just went through every single one of the slides that we had, and it changed all of the themes that we had, which means that, again, it's going to be the colors, the fonts, any of the formatting on the fonts, graphics, any other elements that are part of it are all going to change. And when I mean graphics, I mean like these little additional little elements that you've added here, they're all going to change. Notice the background graphic of the ocean is gone now. And so now I can click on here or just use the down arrow, and it's going to change most of what we had. Notice because of the change in the font size and the accent color and the size, all of a sudden, marketing plans is now covered up here by my newspaper clip art. So again, you have to be careful when you look at it. We already knew this was going to probably happen with our table. It has the other themes. Of course, your table has all gone down. Here, oh boy, that got messed up a little bit. Okay. Then we have, of course, this, and my video, and of course the LinkedIn information. So just remember, when you do go to a different theme, you are going to typically have to make some changes to the elements that you have added, because while they looked good on one theme, they might need to be changed, the size or the font or something to make it look better again. Remember how I said earlier that those of you who are watching this CBT Nugget, most of you will at least know what looks good and what doesn't? Take a look at this page. Does this look good? No, so you'd want to change it, maybe change the color or the size or something, so that way you can see the title as well as be able to see the actual information that's coming through on this particular chart that's linked in. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to undo that, so we're going to go back to our original ocean theme that we have here. Now, one of the other things you can do, every presentation that you have with PowerPoint 2007, even if you're using a blank one, you have the color scheme that's associated. It's part of the theme, but you can also change your color scheme without changing the other parts of the theme. Hopefully that makes sense. In other words, you have this great big container called a theme, and inside this container, you've got a whole bunch of jars of paints that you use for that theme. Well, you can go, you know what, I don't want this jar of paint in here. I want a different color of that jar of paint. And you can replace those for certain things. The way we do that is, again, it'll be on your design. Over right next to your themes, you can see the colors. Now, when I click on the down arrow, what it's going to do is it's saying, all right, in this presentation, you have 8 different color schemes that have been created for this particular theme that you can just go ahead. These are pre-built ones, and notice with the live preview, I can see all the different things that you're going to be able to utilize. So whether it's the Ocean 4, Ocean 3, Ocean 2, or Ocean 1, you can change those. You also, of course, can use the color schemes and the color themes that are built around the other themes, like Office and Grayscale, Apex, Aspect, Civic. And so what you're doing is saying, instead of, and I'll click off of this again, instead of using the whole theme of Apex, which is right here, which includes the backgrounds and the graphics and the fonts and everything and the font effects, you can say, you know what, I like the ocean theme, but I want to go ahead and use the Apex color scheme for it. So you can mix and match and do all kinds of nifty little things with your colors. Now, you might say, I'm looking at all these colors, and I don't see, even though I've got quite a few to choose from, I don't see any that I really want. So you can create your own custom theme colors. So what I can do is I can click on this, and what it does is it opens up the Create New Theme Colors dialog box, and you can see that it says currently your theme colors, the ones you're using for your text and background, for your dark background, is going to be this one blue. Your text background for your light one is going to be kind of a white right here. Then you have your text or background for dark 2 and for light 2. And so you can see the differences between the two, and it gives you kind of a sample. It also shows you have 6 accent colors, and it starts off with the first accent color, and the first thing is going to be this one, and then it's going to go down through. You're going to have, of course, on the light, it's going to start there with the same accent colors, but yet it's going to have a different background. And so these are different things that you can put into place. You can also see a hyperlink. In this one, a hyperlink is going to be orange. So you can see the hyperlink, and down below is a followed hyperlink. That means, remember, if I had a hyperlink here and I've clicked on it, it tells me, look, you've already gone to that hyperlink, you've visited that place. That's what a followed hyperlink means, and so that means that it's going to be that particular color. It changes the color. Now in this case, because let's say, and someone might say, well, Chris, why would I use that? What does that help me? Let's say you're doing a presentation, and you've got a hyperlink in there, and you start the presentation, you click on the hyperlink, you go to that web page, you close it because it opens up something separate, and then you start talking. Someone asks a question, and you get wrapped up into that question, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, now where was I? Oh yeah, I have to go to the hyperlink. You forgot. I mean, it happens to me. You forgot what you've already said, and so you click on the hyperlink and go, okay, let's go to this hyperlink you guys haven't seen, and they all look at you funny going, Chris, you've already gone there. But if I look back at my screen, I go, oh, wait a minute, it's this color versus the non-activated hyperlink. I know I've already gone to that. So that's one reason why you might want to use it. So how do you change this? Let's say I want to go in, and I've got all these theme colors here, and I want to go ahead and say the accent 3 color, which is going to be the third in your, your columns or something like that. Instead of this kind of like purple grayish color, I click on it, and I can choose from either, right now it's the periwinkle accent 3. I can change the periwinkle to where it's darker, or I might say I want to use one of the more recent colors like red. So I go ahead and click on red. Now watch what it does. It says, look, this is what's going to happen. Now your first accent color will be this, the second one, and now it's going to change to that more of a red color. So I want to save this color and color theme that I have, my new color themes. I'm going to call this Chris 1. All right. I click Save, and now it's going to go through, and notice I've got my new theme here. And so if I come down here, watch this. I'm going to come down, and notice I have my instrument types by school. And now, instead of that one gray periwinkle color, I've got that new red color in here. See how that happened? There's your green. And I had changed this, by the way, in the previous video. Remember how I said, hey, you can change the colors within, but I had left it at periwinkle. Well, now it's there. So if I go ahead and I undo the modify theme colors, notice it goes back to the periwinkle color that we originally had. But remember, I went ahead and now I can redo it if I want to redo the modify theme colors. Boom, there it goes, and now that third accent color has now changed. Notice something, gang. I didn't change anything else as part of the theme. All I did was change the colors. So this is what I am, and it tells me my current theme color right there. If I just hover over there, it says your current theme is Chris 1. Chris 1. And if I click the down arrow, there it is. It says I'm using a custom theme color. I'm not using the one that's associated typically with this presentation for Ocean. I'm using Chris 1, which is a custom theme color. So the granularity, the little bits of things that you can do are so different and so amazing that, again, you could bury yourself into studying just how well to use color. And if you're really good at it, you can really make some things that just snap out. But if you're ever confused, remember what I said. There are professionals out there that have designed all these other color schemes here, and you can use those at your leisure. Just go ahead and pick one that looks good to you and you think makes pretty good. By the way, in a later CBT Nugget, we'll talk about what kind of color schemes you should pick for different types of presentations to really make a point. And so we'll talk briefly and at least give you enough information so that way you're able to go through and say, okay, now I get it, going to there. So that allowed us to go through and change some of the accent colors, but you'll notice something else that we also have the capability of doing, and that is to change the theme fonts, which currently is Ocean with the heading Tahoma and a body of Tahoma. And we can see that right here with our Acme Musical Instruments Incorporated title. Now, with any particular theme, you are going to have what is known as your title text or font, and then of course your body font. So if I come over here to my fonts, remember it showed me my current one is my headings are Tahoma and my body is going to be Tahoma. So both are Tahoma. But if I click down, you'll notice I have some others that I can choose for my theme fonts. I can use the Office. I can use Office 2. I can use Office Classic, Arial with Times New Roman. Those of you with Office 2003, PowerPoint 2003, and watch my CBT Nugget series on it will recognize this one, Arial with Times New Roman. Then there's Arial, Lucida Sans, Book Antiqua. And again, these are all standard. So everybody, I know sometimes I'll say, hey, your guys' mileage may vary based on what fonts you have. In this case, all the ones that are standard that come with the themes, everybody has. As long as you have the Office 2007 products. So just so you know. Now, let's say we decided I want to change the fonts of not only the headings, but also the body on everything. So I can go ahead and I say, ooh, boy, Foundry, I like this Rockwell, using Rockwell for it. So if I click on this, it's going to go ahead and on every single slide in my presentation, it's going to change the fonts. So now if I look down here, look, it's changed the font. The heading is Rockwell and the body is Rockwell. And you'll go down and you'll notice that just by changing this, of course, it can change the look and feel of your presentation, because now the Rockwell maybe looks a little bit bigger than a Tahoma does at that similar the font size. So you just kind of have to, one font size at 12 for Arial or Tahoma is not the same size as 12.4 Rockwell. That's just something that happens with these true type fonts. You always have to make sure that you look at it and make sure that it actually fits. But again, of course, you could click in here on that text box and move it up if you wanted, or resize the font. Those are just choices that you can make. Now I'm going to go ahead and undo the theme font so it comes back to the Tahoma. And let's say you were like, okay, I'm looking through this all, and I don't see anything that really makes me happy with it. So what you can do is you can create a new theme font. Now when you click on this, guess what? That's right, a little dialog box comes up and says, okay, well, what do you want for your heading font, and what would you like for your body font? And so here you can go ahead and choose from any of them. And what I really love about your Office 2007 is that you can actually see what the font's going to look like right here. So you can kind of check and see what it looks like. Currently we're using the Tahoma. Now this is where you can get in a little bit of trouble. I'm going to warn you, because I have Stone Serif Sane Small Bold version .1 does not mean that you guys would have that same exact one, because now I'm creating a custom theme font. The other theme fonts that were over here were all standard because you installed Office 2007. This actually goes and looks at all of the fonts that I have in my font folder on my Windows machine. And so if I've added some particular, like a Corel Draw program, or maybe Photoshop and Illustrator, where they have all these other really cool fonts, or you bought a font pack, yours might be different than what I have. So I'll warn you that straight up. So let's go ahead and let's say I wanted to, for my heading, I want to use, we'll use something that's kind of fun here. For my headings, I want to use Bodoni, I think is how you say that, MT Black for my heading, and I want to leave my body font the same as Tahoma. And I'm going to call this Chris Bodoni font. So that's what it's going to be called. I click Save, and then now watch what happens. Now if I go here, this is a heading, so Acme Musical Instruments Incorporated is changed. This is of course still Tahoma because it's considered body text. Again, here is my heading, body text, heading, body text, heading, body, so all the way through, because I'm using, and if I hover over it, it says my current font, theme font is Chris Bodoni font. The heading is Bodoni, and I'm sorry if I'm saying this right, or Bodoni, MT Black, and my body is Tahoma. So again, even though you might have themes and things like that in place, you can change what those theme fonts, you're using the custom theme fonts for yourself. If you're like, oh, I don't like that, again, all you'd have to do is undo, and boom, you're back to where you're traditional, utilizing your Tahoma, the current Ocean theme font. Now, the next button that we want to finish up with is the theme effects. Now, the effects, whenever you look at this, the theme effects is just a real slight refinement to a theme, little different things. And so if we click down here, you can see it can add, for some of the smart art and some of the things that we have, it will go ahead and add certain changes to the style here. Now, these are all built in to part of your built-in fonts. Notice something. On the effects, you don't get anything else besides the built-in fonts or effects right now. So if I go in and I say, well, you know what, I want to add the module or the opulent or the solstice, where this really comes into play is on the smart art graphics themselves and charts. So if I click off of this and I come down here and I have this, you'll notice I'm using a particular effect on my my thing here. So if I come over here and if I want to change these, I can change. Notice how now when I hover over the effect, now look what happens. You can actually see the effect of the effect. I know. I just kill myself with some of these, but anyway, so you can highlight particular ones and it will change the effects that are placed on smart art. Now just remember, this is only when you're using PowerPoint 2007. The effects and things like that will not work if you're using a backwards compatible form of your PowerPoint presentation. So if I had a compatible one and I wasn't utilizing this, because what it does, it literally changes this, as we talked about when we talked about smart art, is it changes it to a picture, a JPEG image, and you can't edit anything on it. It just shows up. And of course, the effects won't do anything to that. But if you are using your PowerPoint 2007, as we are in this CBT Nugget, you could go ahead and say, wow, I really kind of like that paper effect. You click on it, and now look at that. Now we have a really nice effect that's on there. It matches the theme, looks really snazzy, and now we're using this particular effect as part of our theme. And again, if you ever regret any of the choices and you want to go back to the original theme, all you have to do is you can come up here and select the theme and click on it, and it will then go ahead and utilize and bring it back to the original fonts and the things you have. Now, let's say, though, you wanted to apply a different theme to different slides, because notice when I just select one of these and I change this, all of them change. But let's say I wanted to only use a couple of them. I want to apply it to this one, the single one slide here. And I want to also apply it to my video, just doing it. If I hold the control down and select it, I now have selected the two slides. Notice this one is selected, and I scroll down here, and that one is selected. Now, if I go and apply this font, what's going to happen is it's only going to work on those two. So I'm only going to apply it on those two particular slides. So let's see which is one that'll work real good here. That one looks really good. So I go ahead and I click Foundry. I click on it. Now watch what happened. Remember last time I checked on a theme? It went and hit every single one of the slides. Now only the ones that I selected, my one that's right here. Oops, I should have checked that one because it went right over it. But the rest of them all remain the same. And so now, when I go ahead and I roll over it, it says Ocean is currently used by slides 2 through 8 and number 10. And if I go down to Foundry, which is down here somewhere here, and I highlight over the Foundry one, it'll say, hey, it's currently being used by these particular ones. So I'd have to find my Foundry theme. I think it's around here somewhere. Is that it? Yeah, there we go. It's used by slides 1 and 9, so I can see that it's being used. If I highlight one, it says currently this would change all of the slides or only the ones that are selected. So you can see how that works. So if you only have one slide selected, you're going to basically you're going to have to pre-select those, apply the themes. If you click multiple slides, it will only apply theme changes to the selected slides. And again, if you don't have anything primarily selected, it will then apply it to the whole entire presentation. So that's themes. A little bit more advanced look at it and how you can use these themes to really make your presentations shine. Well, we covered a lot that will, I think, make your next presentation just incredible. Mostly because with themes, we notice we're not stuck with just a standard white background with no color, no backgrounds. We can actually use these pre-built themes that are in place, either the ones that are built in with Office 2007 and PowerPoint 2007, or if we want to get a little brave, we can take those existing themes and then change, like the color schemes. What colors are used for accents and your hyperlinks and your background colors and your font colors. We can also go ahead and do font schemes where we can say, well, what is the heading font and what is the body text going to be like? What font are we going to use all the way throughout our presentation or on particular slides? And then finally, we took a look at effects. Hey, if you're using that Smart Art, maybe you want to use some of those kind of really neat little visual enhancements that come with Smart Art and are part of PowerPoint 2007. I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.